year or two where it's like, hey, there's 3 ways of communicating with me because I'm just busy as fuck all the time. It's like, if it just send a text if you need a quick reply.
Your video is a little like what's it called? Night before Thanksgiving. That's real cool for you guys to continue to make time. I'm working tonight and tomorrow night at the hospital. So, but yeah, that's depressing. Like it's just the worst time of year for people to be in the ER. But like I said, getting to
I am much more different, so please just understand that even like what his message, it's just outstanding.
And have an ostomy bag and having to deal with that for 6 months and deal with chemo and radiation. And it's just so amazing and so rewarding because you get to see their own journey and the way that each person processes the struggle. It just continues to reinforce the mindset that yes, jiu-jitsu is a foundation where you can heal. It's a foundation where you can provide self-reliance, and it's a foundation of
You'd like the power of the tap. After 20 years, I've never heard somebody say, I hope I die on the mats. I've never heard that in my life. And in 2 weeks, you've already, and I'm not trying to steer you in one direction, but if you could talk about the power of the tap, especially how it relates to the moral courage that was required for white belts to show up, like they don't know. I never even thought about it like that until you explained it.
That live in San Clemente, fluent neighborhood. They're all business owners. They're kind of in their second stage of and have had the chance to work with some guys in their 50s and 60s to start training jiu-jitsu. It's in the power of the tap. Somebody could touch you wrong. They could take one hand and get a collar tie. You don't like it, tap. My mastery of my supposed mastery of a technique that's better than somebody who's just trying. Well, no, duh. I don't think so. I think we're missing the point. But we somehow think that if you're a black belt, you're supposed to like, the better you're going to be and more focused you're going to be, not only as a professor, but being able to connect things. In 7 days, we're off the island. And as I'm preparing to go to Wounded Warrior, I'm like, okay, so I'm a chief warrant officer. Like, I'm going to have, how many Marines am I going to have? Like, what kind of things do I need to get like a 6-part folder on them? And they're like, no, that's not how that works. Like, you are focused on you. I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm like, when we have formation, like, am I going to have to? And they're like, no, man, you're not getting it. Oh. And then as the chief warrant officer, I just went ballistic with that and just did all my own thing. That was my second limited duty. So then when I went for my second limited duty for cancer, they consider it my third limited duty, and they put me on a PB. And I'm like, wait a second. So again, as of 2019, the Marine Corps and Navy medicine hasn't changed. Like,
dude, that's freaking rad. We got a lot of vets in the house. Any questions from some of the vets on how,
secondary cottages on K-Bay? Pretty amazing. It's gorgeous. Like the steep mountains, man, it's gorgeous. Green. So I haven't taken the
I'm sorry. I also had a question. I wanted you to talk quickly about your green squad. So Travis is in a group of men that have met every week. All right. That's freaking insane. Every single week, this group of 5, 6, 7 guys, right? 7.
And how we're able to be vulnerable with each other, not only as men, but like as business people pursuing and executing and overcoming. I didn't realize that cussing and sex and politics were supposed to be so funny, but whatever. But yeah, I get up at 05 every Saturday morning, and have been doing it.
What I want to do is quickly throw this over to Rob and see if, hey, what's up, man? Oh, hey, dude, how are you, dude, man? I wanted to quickly just say hello and see what your thoughts are on any of this stuff. Maybe introduce yourself and say hello, and really glad to have you, man.
I came in a little late on that, but what I got from it was pretty good, and kind of falls right into what I started. So I'm out here in San Diego, Army veteran, San Diego City fireman, which is looking to be pretty big because I got a bunch of different sponsors on board. Trident Coffee, which is out here in San Diego. Bub's Naturals, another San Diego company, which is very veterans focused. LMNT, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, Rob Wolf's company, the electrolyte packages, but just in a holding pattern right now with what I'm doing till the first of the year, so I could file that incorporation paperwork and the 501c3 stuff with the IRS as well.
And we had talked recently because you have a black belt on your logo, but I said, hey, what belt are you? And I'm just bringing this stuff up because I want you to get feedback from other people in the jiu-jitsu community. So I recommended to him, if he's a blue belt, to maybe have it as a blue belt or incorporate some other things. You mentioned you had talked to some friends and they said the black belt was, so, what are your thoughts? Where are you right now? And like, you know,
And now it's just been tumbling in my head ever since. Like it didn't pop up before.
foundation. And the thing was, we were talking about was just a logo. It was a black belt with the circle that says open mats. And then the second question I wanted to have for you is like, how much does the open mat actually have to, like, are you planning on, you know, because it's open mat foundation, you guys had a hike recently, like what's your plan on for open mats? Because you do have a black belt in the San Diego area, lots of connects. You know, what's your plan going forward in like 30 seconds?
For tuition. So that's what we're planning on per student. So from that angle, we're looking at doing 10 to 15 students a year for tuition and just focusing on what corporate sponsors we could pull that money in.
What was it like getting back on the mats in terms of recovery? Like, did you always kind of anticipate that as being like
you know, I think one of the beautiful things about jiu-jitsu is there's stuff in front of you every single day. I think it's kind of like, especially your face and your jawline for those who train or, you know, are now starting to train. It's like Fight Club. You have to, no matter how I was physically, that mentally it was the place I was going to be able to, my back fusion, my bad knee, like all of that falls off. And it's being empty-minded and present at the exact same time.
And that's really cool the way you put that, Travis. And I catch how you kind of mentioned like being present, you know, how I think that overlap in jiu-jitsu and then in your personal life, you share that. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and thank you again for sharing and being open about your cancer survival story. So it's a powerful story. Like, man, we're so privileged. It'd be hard to pull me off the beach if I was out there.
No, my youngest is 12. He was actually at Pipes getting triple overhead waves today. So, and yes, he's like, man, your son is like focused and willing. I said, yeah, he wants to charge. That's not an everyday occurrence. So we're pretty blessed because he is.
That's supremely rad. I see a lot of the videos and the pictures, and I'm always like, hell yeah. I miss San Clemente and that area. I was so focused on getting my black belt that every time I paddled out, I was like, shit, I need to be putting this into my jujitsu. I was just, and more than likely, they're going to return in kind. And that's why I've got OS Nation, BJJ, all of these big shit. Craig Jones and Gabby Garcia saw my freaking post yesterday. It was a post like, or 2 days ago, you know, or shit, get Grapple Cove. I bet you could order your freaking logo on one of theirs.
Yeah, honestly, because I mean, I've tagged them a few times, saying like Fuji mats, like best mats in the game, and so they followed me back. And
man, I would do a little reel on like, here's a sweet neon belly technique, and look, my post foot isn't slipping because I'm on a Fuji mat.
Something obstacle breaching system, and it's a rocket that.
But just trying to explore some new ways of like attracting business, I guess.
Anybody else have anything to share? Aaron, real quick, but like reporting comments before we break it up and then turn it over to Travis. I'd like to give him the last couple remarks later, John, before we end it.